I wasn't a kid. I eat the one that's
We're going to get started. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to convene the regular board meeting for Harrison School District 2. It's March 18th. Any members of the public that desire to address the board need to sign the roster in between the two doors by 6:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, if we can start with a roll call, please.
Virginia English.
Present.
Jeannie Lyra.
Present.
Linda Pugh, here. Steve Siebert.
Here.
Corey Williams.
Here.
Anna Soto.
Here.
And I just lost your name. I'm so sorry. Eliza Moore, thank you. We were looking at the name Nyesha several times in the past week, and I went, that's not right.
Here. And go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have anyone from Harrison doing the Pledge of Allegiance? No kids?
On the
video. Oh, there she is. Okay.
So I'm a Taylor I'm part of the IB program. Alright. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was much speedier than the little kids stuff. All right. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda this evening?
Yes.
Sorry, Ms. Meredith, we have the mission ready to go to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There was no kids.
My name is Ryan Santo, and I'm in the 11th grade for the IB program.
I'm another Mike Chiletta, and I'm also in IB school.
Harrison School District 2 McGregor College and Career many students with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors to personally succeed and contribute to the common good.
Thank you. I like the new space back there. It's pretty nifty. All right. Everyone's had a chance to review the agenda, so if I could get a motion for the agenda this evening.
I move to approve the agenda as stated.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by Mrs. Pugh. All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a meeting. We have a meeting 1 year after COVID started, and I still can't see anyone's face. We're going to start with showcasing of schools. Today we have Mr. Vargas, principal of Harrison High School. I'm so excited.
Yes, test, great. So first of all, I just want to paint a picture where we just came from. So we were in the gym with our volleyball team playing Woodland Park, and you look to the left of the stadium, and our football team, our lower level football team, is playing Denver North. So just as you said, Ms. President, just the thought of where we've been this year, to be able to witness and see that was just so powerful. So coming here and having the opportunity to paint a picture for you for the next 20 minutes, 15 we're hoping, for you to see what is happening at Harrison High School. So I just want to start off first of thank yous. And my first thank you goes to Norma. Norma, thank you. You do know what she does for us and for our district and for our kids. Thank you, Norma. And Central Administration, you would be very proud of the support that they give us schools, the vision, and all in it for kids. That starts with our leader, Dr. Burhansel. Thank you, Dr. Burhansel. And then to you, to the board, thank you. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your love for the kids, because it's contagious and we all caught it. So thank you. So with that, we're going to begin painting the picture. And I want to start with what the bond has done for us. So as you take a look at our learning commons, and thank you, community. This is the central part of our building. It's the heartbeat. Our kids just love being in this area. And when you walk in, it's a college type of vibe. They want to be there. They want to grab their laptops and pop and hang out and study together. When you go to the next slide, that's going to be our gymnasium. And when you get the opportunity to come watch us here in the gymnasium, the first thing you're going to notice is, man, you can see the lights. Wow, this is different. So the gymnasium, and then finally our pool. And we are hearing that when we get back from spring break, that our pool is going to be officially ours. So we are looking forward to that opportunity. And what I'm also hearing, that this is the best pool in the city, and could be one of the best pools in the state of Colorado. And so we are so excited, looking forward to the opportunity to connect our community through our swimming pool. So those are the things that we are seeing with the bond. So again, thank you. As we get started, everything we do comes through our action plan. So an action plan that we develop at the beginning of the year, we bring in staff members, we have community members, and we have students bouncing off what's this year going to look like. And we use our UIP, and we come up with a general vision of where we want to go. So we're going to start with that action plan and start painting the picture for you as we talk about our three major areas: our instructional capacity, our social emotional learning, and opportunity for leadership for our students. So with that, I'm going to take a step back. And as you can see, I brought our team with me, and everything we do it's about team, and it's about family, as you see the shirts that we gave. So that's what we do. And our team's going to start the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Thompson. I'm the Dean of Students at Harrison High School, and I'm so excited to share with you this evening some of the wonderful professional development that we've done this year. Andrea, I don't know if that's on.
Just turn the on button on.
That better? So once again, my name is Andrea Thompson, and I'm the Dean of Students at Harrison High School. I'm so excited to share with you this evening some of the wonderful professional development that we've done at Harrison High School. Thus far, we've completed 23 hours of whole staff PD led by 19 different administrators and teacher leaders. This year, we've really increased our use of technology, and two of the programs and platforms that we've used are Canvas and Teams. And Teams has been such a great asset to us because it's allowed us to do individualized, targeted professional development, needs-based professional development for our teachers through the use of breakout rooms. Even with our breakout rooms, we're able to work with our struggling students who may be having difficulty, who may not ask those questions in a whole group forum, but the teacher is able to pull them aside, create another room, and answer those questions that need to be answered. On October 18th, we had the pleasure of doing a whole day professional development workshop. It was wonderful. Administrators acted as participants and presenters. I, along with Al Mello, Katia Molina, had the pleasure of presenting a workshop on culturally relevant pedagogy. In this workshop, we really looked at whether our instruction was thoughtful. Are we teaching and thinking about what we're teaching? Two of the words that have really stood out to us this year are flexibility. Flexibility with our students, our parents, our staff, flexibility within our own selves. We also looked at whether our professional development and our teaching was purposeful. Do the students understand why they're learning what they're learning? And is it relevant? Are we connecting it to what we're doing today? Are we teaching across cross-cultural settings? And are we really, really using impactful teaching to make sure all of our students and our diverse population understands and feels heard. For example, one of the things that we've encouraged our students to do is use their voices and share their thoughts. Particularly in the African American community, one of the ways in which we communicate is through oral storytelling and anecdotes. Our grandmothers, mothers, grandfathers, they share our rich and oral history through storytelling. So we realize that it's important for our students to be able to share their experiences through learning with teachers and with staff.
So we'll just get welcome out. Just want to take that. We'll just like that one, or you can have, we'll just, you should get it, just turn it.
All right. Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. So hey everybody. My name is Maya McCann. I am the IB coordinator. I first off just want to thank you guys for having us here, and then also everyone at the district level. Like I cannot express the amount of support that I feel from all of you in my position, and that the kids do as well. So thank you so much. So in terms of where we're at in the IB program, we have two authorized programs. The middle year program, which is for 9th and 10th grade. That kind of covers all of our students in 9th and 10th grade. And then we have the diploma program, which is a specific cohort of juniors and seniors. We are one of 3 high schools in the Pikes Peak region that is authorized in both programs, which is really exciting. Additionally, we are the only school besides Greeley West that integrates our AVID and IB. So kids that are in our diploma program are also supported with the social emotional supports of AVID, but also getting ready for that post-secondary education through the diploma program, which is really lucky. One other thing to note that I'm really excited about, and I think is a true testament to Rachel's leadership over at Sand Creek, is we are almost at the point where we have a district-wide continuum for IB with PYP, MYP, and DP, which is such an awesome opportunity for our students, and that I'm really excited to see continue to grow. So in terms of kind of future plans that we have, we plan to apply for the career-related program next year, going to a couple of workshops and learning more about that program to align with our CTE program. And then also, just kind of in terms of a big thank you, once again, the financial support from the district has been pivotal in getting teachers trained and getting administrators trained and purchasing materials, such as Nearpod, before the district also purchased that. And then really just getting kids the supplies and resources that they need so that they can be successful. And then likewise, like Candy Bristol and your team, like kudos to you guys for working with us along the way. So thank you so much. So in terms of where we are, for the middle years program, kids are currently working on their personal projects. We have a kid who I'm mentoring who's doing something on World of Warcraft, which I don't really know what that entails, but it's interesting to hear his passion. And then really just working with kids on conceptual understanding, grasping command terms, all the things that they're going to need those skills that they're going to need to have to be successful after high school, whether it be in the workplace or in college. And then additionally, we have staff-wide professional development on approaches to teaching and learning, digital assessments, authentic assessments, unit planners, conceptual understanding, and the like. And really excited to bring on another one of our staff members to help with that process. And then in terms of the DP, we currently have 23 juniors. We have a similar number of rising juniors that plan to pursue the diploma program next year. Essentially, kids in this program take 7 required classes, as well as write a 4,000-word essay, and do something called CAS, which stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service, which Phil will speak to some of the things that kiddos are doing outside of the classroom as part of CAS. And then next year, some really exciting things is we are offering certificates. So aside from those 23 that are pursuing the entire diploma, we have another about 75 kids that have opted into specific classes. And these are really kiddos that want to have the access, but maybe aren't quite ready to take on like the entire load of the diploma. And then one additional thing to note that I'm super excited about is we have a former Harrison alum, Adriana Alvarado, who I actually taught almost a decade ago, which is crazy. But she is teaching a bilingual social and cultural anthropology class, so that increases access so that our NEP and LEP students can also have an opportunity to earn that college credit through that course. So at this point, I'm going to hand it on to Amanda Wormers to talk about Avid.
We'll get a system going.
Yep, I got it. So our Avid program is continuing to grow and thrive at Harrison High School. As Molly mentioned, it does create a direct partnership and link with our IB program, which really helps support our students to develop that college and career readiness, skills that they need moving out, and also the tools that they need to move into those rigorous IB and or AP programs, depending on what path that they're going. Some highlights of our AVID program to date is that we have 51 seniors who are going to graduate out of our our AVID program this year. Our AVID students average over $1 million in scholarships every year, which is a huge support for them as they move into their post-secondary choices. And students in the AVID program have a 1 point higher GPA than non-AVID students. So it really increases their success in their classes with having those tools. For our staff, we have now over 60% of our staff with 12 or more hours of AVID training. And that has allowed us to become a site, let me make sure I say it right, a school-wide site of distinction, which really opens the door that our next step is to become a national demo school, which is our goal in the next year or two. So that's been really exciting for our AVID program.
Hello everybody, I'm Tyler Lawrence. I'm the assistant principal at Harrison High School. I'm excited to talk to you about two new instructional shifts that we have at Harrison High School, the coaching cycle and then walkthroughs. So the coaching cycle was developed after conversational data with teachers and then also qualitative data through our D2 climate surveys. We found that there was a disconnect between administrators and teachers. Here we are developing IB and we're wanting them to be creative and experiment with their lesson plans, embed inquiry, go crazy with application. And they were worried that they weren't going to get the box checked on their evaluation rubric. So we pulled back and said, Jim Knight, who's an instructional coach who has great literature, talks about the importance of equity and dialogue. And the idea that what works for EC might not work for Rachel over here. And then the importance of talking about that more as a coach and less as an evaluator. So what we sought to do is sit down with our teachers and say, hey, what do you want to work on this semester? What's important to you? Where do you see your students growing based on your desire for instruction? So is it differentiation? Is it inquiry? And then based on that, we formed our coaching cycle to meet the needs of that teacher. In addition to that, instead of out of the gates marking them, we just gave them comments so it didn't feel like a gotcha, and gave them time to practice that focus area that they were really wanting to grow. And then towards the end of the cycle, we did show them how they would fall on the rubric so that there's no surprises when it comes to formal evaluations and some of those. And what we found, if you look at the blue, is the data skyrocketed. So in 2020, staff said they felt appreciated for their work, their instructional work, and it was only 54% who strongly agreed. And then after the implementation of the coaching cycle, we found that it went up to 71%. Similarly, we found that they believed 63% in 2020 school admin was supporting them when they needed it. And then in 2021, that skyrocketed to 84%. So we do believe that's hugely in part to the coaching cycle. In addition to the coaching cycle, this is important to note actually. One of my favorite parts of it is that the feedback that goes with the coaching cycle is actionable. So if the focus area, if you look in the top left, has to do with critical thinking, then the feedback is going to be specific to critical thinking. And whenever we can, we tie in the IB approaches to teaching and learning as well, so that they're getting feedback on that. Or it might be as simple as the top right, yellow, orange, where you see a focus area being a teacher wanting to see students self-advocate. So feedback might be, today that came through when you told students to write without apologizing. And this was powerful. Moving on, we just recently implemented this thanks to Mr. Vargas. This is his beautiful brainchild. It's walkthroughs. So I supervise the English department, and that's pretty much who I see, that in the fine arts department. But you know what? I want to try my hand out at calculus every once in a while, see what kind of feedback I can give those teachers, even though I was an English major, yeah? So this allows me to do that. With the walkthrough form, the two purposes are to understand the current instructional situation within our building and also to monitor implementation of instructional shifts. The big two instructional shifts that we have at Harrison right now, obviously the IB and then Avid. So what the walkthrough form does is allow us administrators to go each week 15 times into different classrooms and note what we see. Additionally, at the end, there's a reflective question. So we might open up a dialogue with that teacher to think about how what we saw relates to the lesson for the day or future lesson planning. So it might be that during the lunch they come talk to us about what we wrote, the questions that we had. But what's been really cool is it's allowed us to acquire data. And if you see on the next slide, this data happens weekly. And we share this out every Friday in emails to the staff so they see what we saw within all classrooms as it pertains to IB and Avid and those look fors. So over here you see that the week of March 8th, 41% of teachers were engaging students in critical thinking. 19 teachers, which was 90%, were engaging students in problem solving. That to us says, yes, we are doing the 21st century skills that we sought to do in supporting IB. If it looks like we're low in certain areas, then we'll use that to coach teachers. We'll come back as an admin team to kind of problem solve what root causes are. And then additionally, we use this data to plan PD. So it's specific to what's happening with our teachers and within our building. And next, Mindy is going to talk about social emotional.
My name is Mindy Simons. I'm assistant principal, another assistant principal. Social emotional learning, in conjunction with instructional capacity, we wanted to beef up our social emotional learning and supports this year, especially during the pandemic. But we have a unique partnership with Colorado Educational Initiative. This is kind of a think tank in Colorado that provides funding and support for schools as they experiment and try out new thinking. And specifically, we were part of the High School Redesign Network. That funding allowed us to build out our Avid Opportunity program along with the tutoring center, build a peer mentorship class, as well as grow our connection circles and restorative justice throughout the building. In addition to that, and the thing that we're most excited about and that's most recent is our compass circle work, and we're partnering with Valor Collegiate in Nashville. It is a curriculum that's focused on human development, so the idea that human development goes beyond conflict and beyond teaching kids to move through and learn from conflict, but all aspects of human development, kindness, courage, balance in your life. How do you, beyond the school walls, how do you grow that aspect of yourself? And it has a curriculum for it. That curriculum has badge work. It ends in a process called circle, the compass circle process. Luckily, I work with a principal that's super humble, and 3 weeks ago, I came to him and I said, hey Pete, I got an idea. We finally practiced circle work with our adults to the point that I think we're ready for a faculty circle. And what this means is a faculty member comes forward with a conflict with another faculty member. In this case, a conflict was with Mr. Vargas, the faculty and they hear each other out in person in a circle like this and process it, right? It was super exciting and work that is just not happening in other places. And so we had built up to this process. We're at the point, we did it, and there's 6 parts. I want to go through those parts with you so you get a sense for what this work is like. We think this is the game changer in culture and the game changer eventually as well in student achievement and growth for the whole child. It starts with having adults practice on themselves, right? And I mean, it starts with us. Everything starts with us, but then you need to grow it. So it starts with the opening circle. You can see introductions. Next. Reviewing norms. So one of the norms is wiggly fingers. That's giving love, right? If you hear something that you that resonates with you, that's like, yeah, me too. That's the motion, and it's weird because now we're doing this in meetings. It's hard not to give Next, faculty circle. So then you have the circle, so the 2 people come forward, and this is what we hear.
here, and I came back feeling like there was not maybe the type of communication or the addressal of
He had his room change on him, and he learned about it January, coming back second semester, and he's like, whoa.
part of that had to do with my feelings of my classroom is a safe space, and kind of coming back from a really hectic, borderline, well, I'll just say very difficult first semester that we all dealt with. So upon return, it was just, it created a lot of anxiety, and just kind of threw a loop in my head. And it made me feel really anxious, and I think at first, in the moment, it made me not feel super valued, or maybe I just lost focus, or understanding, or that feeling of value that had been pulled through me at that time. So I was kind of frustrated, and I value our relationship and our commitment that we have to the school. And I know this isn't a large conflict, it's something that I've circled back around to communicate with you about, and I feel really positive about my own personal growth and hard work from that.
All right, yay, bring on, boss. That was risky. All right, so next was time for residents. So the person who brought the conflict stands in the center of the circle, everyone else sits back down, and people can come forward and do me too's with that person. So someone came forward and said, Miranda in this case, she came forward and she said, me too. Coming back after holiday, I had a stressful family situation, coming back, and then things had changed. I definitely resonate with you, and then you can see the script, right? The script is important, the structure is important. She goes through that structure, that script. There's active coaching in the middle of it, which helps us stay on target. Next. Then we debrief at the end. The person who brought the conflict processes their thinking and feelings around it using that format. Next. And then we do appreciations.
I would like to thank you for showing your vulnerability and your leadership, for your willingness to step into a circle and hear conflict within the building, and your not just responding, but genuinely and truly hearing it. I think it shows your kind of leader that you are, someone who cares deeply about the people that you meet. So I appreciate that.
And you do a touch, and because of COVID. All right, so then we have some IB students who are doing this as their CAS project, which I'm so excited about, because our fourth quarter experiment is this. We're going to take this structure and ask department chairs if they want to do one of these circles, and we'll give them a choice of 3, with their team. That's the beautiful thing about couple circles. It's not just one circle, like restorative justice may have 4 circles. This has bajillions of circles. So we're going to offer it up, and then they'll leave that with our staff. And here was one of the CAS students reflecting on it, what she saw. She watched the circle.
Things that you took away from observing that circle.
Some things I took away from the circle is I liked how when they started with the conflict, Principal Vargas, he gave Mr. Stapleton, I don't remember their first names, but he gave Mr. Stapleton reassurance. And another thing I also liked is that Mr. Vargas gave everybody else in the circle reassurance as well. And I like that everyone was included, and every single thing that they said was taken in to mind and responded to. I really like that, because sometimes I find when talking to people and like when you're expressing yourself, they answer to the things they want to answer to, or leave some things out. But I really liked how everybody included every single thing and really showed that they were actually listening and showing that they actually cared. Another thing I really liked was that this was it was with staff members, because it shows that people from all age ranks go through things, and there's always a way to build with people around you to make things better and to make the environment better.
Okay. Yeah. She was so perceptive. And then here's some of the types of compass circles we're excited to try coming up. Next, we had leadership kids. We engaged in this remotely at the end of first quarter because they did a whole semester focused on kindness and appreciation. We wanted to end it in a circle. And so we did a circle with that focus called Limelight.
Hi, my name is Allison Favela, and I participated in the circle project with my leadership class. And I can personally say that overall, being able to participate in this project has been a really good opportunity for myself, and I think for my peers as well, because it had allowed me personally to be able to appreciate my peers for who they are and for the things that they have done for me in the leadership class. And it just felt really good for me to be able to tell them how much I appreciate them, and just to tell them thank you for even the little and simple things that they have done for me. And I know that at the end of the day, that can really bring a smile to them because they know that they're bringing a smile to somebody else. And I know that can make somebody feel really good about themselves. So being able to participate in the circle project definitely helped me feel more connected with my peers, being able to tell them thank you for just anything that they have done for me.
So exciting. All right.
No. We'll get a system going here.
Wow. Oh, all right. I'm not a mic person. I talk loud enough, so my apologies. But again, I want to say wow. And the reason why I say wow, when you hear everything that we are doing at Harrison, this is what draws me in. This is what I love about our district. This is what I love about our school. And most importantly, this is what I love about the people I work with. So thank you for being my colleagues. Thank you every day I get to work with you guys. And thank you guys for your ongoing support that allows us to do that. So how do we follow up with all that? We show our award-winning marching band. All right. So take a look. All right, so that doesn't even do it justice. You definitely have to see them in action. Sadly, this year they're not going to be able to compete, but they are so excited. Our football season is kicking off Saturday, unexpectedly at Harrison. Thank you again for that support, for making that happen. But we cannot wait for fall to see them in action. Some other athletic highlights that we just want to draw your attention to. I'm just only going to highlight a few. Is we had some standout athletes this year under a pandemic and everything changing. And one of them being Maya Moore Allen. She is a senior. She's a girls basketball player, captain, and these are the two awards that she walked away with. She is Player of the Year in the Southern Colorado Springs Metro League. So that is amazing. And she was also the leading scorer in the state of Colorado. I was just informed she is going on 2 recruiting trips coming up, and she's playing volleyball at the same time. Amazing. And then Michaela McClure, a 9th grader that qualified for state swimming. Man, she has not even hit her ceiling, and we are so excited what she's going to do for us. And then lastly, obviously, Harrison versus Sierra football. Put it on your calendars. March 26th, 7 p.m. Memorial Stadium. If you guys need tickets, because we are limited, you have to talk to Coach Mello. He's the man that's going to get you everything that you need. So I'm going to take us through the next 3 slides, some notable programs that we have going on. This one focuses on our global partnerships that we are that we have. So World Affairs Challenge, we've had students from Costa Rica come to us. We have taken our kids to Costa Rica, and really this wouldn't have been possible without IB. So kudos to our IB program and where it is taking us. And then another highlight, tomorrow's Women Peace Ambassador Program. They're holding bi-monthly meetings to discuss with Israeli and Palestinian women about race, class, gender, and how it impacts it with social justice. So great world programs and partnerships that we have going for us. And then these next couple slides focus on our community partnerships, which are key into our development as we move forward. We're continuing our partnerships with Educating Children of Color. It's huge, it's great every single year. We send staff members and students. And our Circle Bridge project that's been going on for a few years now, where we're partnering with engineering and really discussing what is going to be happening with the Circle Bridge, because it desperately needs some help as we drive over it every single day. Lastly, Minds Matter. This is like Avid on steroids, right? So we produce a mentorship program where we graduate students and they come back and they help our students out. But this is the next level. We are partnering with college students, community within the community, and really giving them the same sort of tools that they would receive in Avid class, but giving them that college feel to it. Along with that, they're able, as sophomores going into their junior year, they get to go and be a part of a summer program locally, and then after that, as a junior going into their senior year, they get to then go nationally and be a part and complete a college program. So great partnerships that we have going on there. And then lastly, two things I want to point out is our Jstep. This is brand new this year. We have a cohort of kids that are working basically to complete a Mars mission from the start all the way to finish, which means getting them back home safely. So this has been a great partnership as well. And then our Converge lecture series that Mr. Lawrence has really taken under his wing and flew off with it. And every single year we have seniors that work with colleges, local colleges, and they do assigned readings and attend workshops, and really it's the collaboration piece that's going to provide that equal access to education that we are looking for our students. With that being said, wow, that's a lot going on, but we're not done yet. And I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Vargas because he's got a great future and vision for Harrison High School in the district.
I'm just gonna, there we go. Yeah, we're just gonna end it. We are bringing unified bowling to Harrison High School and bringing in our special population. And Coach Mello, who's over at the volleyball game being a dad, so he's not here with us, brought this over and being selfish because I'm the principal. I want to coach bowling. Don't know how to bowl, but I want to coach bowling, and I definitely really want to grow our unified program with basketball and softball. So, and then also our esports, which is something new to the whole entire state. But again, Coach Mello, who isn't here, grabbed our coach, and we have a team, and we have computers. We're gonna compete. We're gonna be competing in esports. So that is so cool. I just want to end it with this. As you can see, we have a lot going on at Harrison High School, and I wish that we could sit here for 2 hours because we have a lot more to talk about. But I know you're busy, and I went over my time. Sorry, Norma. I'm sorry. But that's us, and I'm just excited to say the future's bright, and we're gonna have to wear shades because it's so bright. So once again, thank you, and thank you for giving us time.
Mr. Vargas, I'm sure everyone has something to say. I can't imagine that they don't because there's a lot given. Who wants to go first? Steve, you're up.
I would just say, I'm gonna let them have all that, proud to be a Panther. That's all I gotta say. Once a Panther, always a Panther.
That's it.
I just think it's exceptional, all the work that you guys are doing. That's truly the building block of healing in a community. And it starts right there. Those are the next adults to step out into the real world. And I think you guys have a marvelous start in building that future. So I thank you, Mr. Vargas, for that.
I don't know what to say, but wow. It's interesting, as I'm listening to all this, I feel like with all the masking and COVID and don't touch and that I've not had a chance to get to the buildings, and I'm looking at this going, there's a lot of stuff I'm missing. So second vaccine's coming up real soon for me. I'll be back. That's great stuff. Thank you very much.
I just want to say I appreciate all the hard work that you all put in every day to our students. Thank you for making learning fun and enhancing things that you all do on a daily basis. It's really appreciated, and we couldn't do what we do without you all, so thank you.
Thank you for your leadership, Mr. Vargas. Really evident in your team and all that's happening at Harrison. There's just only one or two things that I really wanted to touch on. It seems like you guys are really doing very well-rounded things, which is important. I really wanted to touch on your ability to reach out for cultural truths. I know we saw a lot of things happen recently, and not all people, not all teachers, and not all districts or families want to have their students taught cultural truths, and I think it's really admirable that all of us really value that and put that forth for our students. So we really, really appreciate that as a board. We would never want to hinder our students' abilities to learn the truth. So thank you so much. All right, they're gonna wrap that up. And I was there. You weren't there, just so you know. I went, I saw the gym, I watched wrestling, I asked for you, they were like, he's not here.
He was practicing bowling.
All right, public comment. All right, looks like I have. Not public comment, because you're up next. Betty, right? You're not public comment, so you're gonna be my next thing. So I don't have any public comment. You're actually a presenter, so I have you at 6.1. Betty McDonald from the Pikes Peak Library District. We gave you more than 3 minutes, it looks like.
Okay. Thank you. All right, good evening. I'm Betty McDonald. I'm the school engagement librarian at the Pikes Peak Library District. And I've been actually Zooming into Board of Education meetings for the last 6 months, so I'm not used to actually being in person. So I signed in because I didn't know any better. I work at the Penrose Library, and I work for the Family and Children's Services, which means, yes, I oversee 14 school districts in El Paso County in terms of our relationship with Pikes Peak Library District. But I focus on elementary schools mostly. And we have a young adult librarian who focuses on middle school and high school. Well, I'm here, obviously, Power Pass. How many of you have heard of the Power Pass? Okay. Well, the Power Pass is a new program the Pikes Peak Library District has been approaching the school districts. A couple years ago it was District 11, and last year it was District 2. And so, and Andy knows all about this, but we worked very hard to launch this in D2 in January. So what does this mean? I actually get teachers asking me, why do the students want a Power Pass? And what a Power Pass is each student registered automatically has one, unless their parent has opted out. Because there's a ton of resources that open up to a student. And we want to give parents the choice of opting out if they don't want that for their child. This is an e-card, so it doesn't actually exist in physical form like a library card does. It's an e-card, and what it means for students is that they will put in their student ID, prefaced by HSD2, and that is their PowerPass library card number. Does that make sense? And so they can check out all kinds of things. Now, we have them limited to only 5 physical things, but really it's not the physical things so much anymore. We check out over 2 million ebooks these days, and so it's really all about the online resources. And as you can see here, there are no fines anymore in the library. You knew that. Ooh, okay, so that's news. Now, there are fees if you lose a book. Flush it down the toilet or with something. But, you don't have to pay for the book. But there are no fines anymore. So that's all the news for everybody here. And the thing about the resources, and you can go forward, I just pulled some out of here that maybe students and parents would use. Any of these look familiar to anybody? I don't call our website the easiest to use, so I would not be surprised if these hide a little bit. But that's why I'd like to tell you about them. Mango Languages is over 70 little language courses that anybody can take with a library card or a PowerPass. And it's designed like it's 2 months of going through conversational Japanese or Spanish or even pirate, if you can believe that. But if you're going to a different country, you could actually have some little phrases and be prepared for that. So that is Mango Languages, again, free. Tumble Books and the Tumble Book Cloud, one under it, those are always accessible, animated, talking storybooks, and then just chapter books or nonfiction. They're always, you're not checking those out. Those are always available to read on a device. And Tumble Book Cloud doesn't even require any kind of library card number. The next one down, so you want to get a job, I'll do that last, because that's a little bit more of an explanation. The Brainfuse Help Now, up at the top there, that is an online tutoring service you can use with your PowerPass or your library card number. And what that means is Brainfuse Help Now is the platform where a student can connect to a live tutor. Now, sometimes parents will go, what are you talking about? But we assure them that these tutors, they're all vetted. They're employees of Brainfuse Help Now. A lot of them have masters in their fields. And they tutor K through 12 and up into college even. And they do it online, 7 days a week, from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So that's good for the weekends. A student can get on here and ask somebody just a simple question, one homework question, or a whole concept, and get some tutoring over the any day of the week. There's a lot on Brainfuse for adults, resume writing, preparing for a citizenship test, all kinds of things for adults there too. Culturegrams is just easy maps and flags and country and state information for kids. And Peterson's, I'll get to the last slide on that one too. Canopy is streaming videos. You can, as a teacher, check out 10 a month. And you can show these videos in your classroom. And a lot of them you'll notice are educational. Anyway, you might find something there for your classroom. Hoopla, anybody familiar with Hoopla? It's another streaming thing, except there's movies, there's music, there's e-comic books, and all kinds of things in Hoopla. And you can check out 10 things a month. That little icon that is no words on it is Libby. And the Libby app makes Overdrive very simple. So if you have the Libby app on your phone, you can use the PowerPass again
and check out ebooks, audiobooks, and all that. Biography, these Gale and context biography sources. We have about 5 of these huge reference sources here that are very comprehensive reference material that comes with periodicals and also multimedia. Again, all at the fingertips. If they have internet at home, a student can get to that. Novelist is great for teachers and librarians and parents finding good books for their kids to read next. And then the Gale resources, those are ebooks. We have over 100 of these e-reference books. Now, I could really have used this in the 80s when I was in grad school, but they're always available. There's no checking out or sitting in the library after hours trying to do your work. It's all available, again, with the PowerPass. Okay, last slide. I wanted to point these 3 out especially, just because Peterson's career prep, being the children's person, I wrote it out what it was. So I'm just going to read it because I'm not that familiar with it, but I think it's important. Whether improving their next standardized test score or creating their first resume, Peterson's test prep helps students prepare for what comes next. Create individualized study plans, search for colleges and scholarships, and explore different career paths in this comprehensive tool. Again, something high school kids can access with their PowerPass or library card. I talked about brain fuse already, but this last thing is a workforce readiness. And this is an online learning experience which is designed to help students learn career skills and enter the workforce. Students will watch videos, read articles, and take quizzes on professionalism, communication, and more. After successfully completing the training, students will receive 10 hours of volunteer credit and a certificate that they can show to potential employers. This goes from about grade 7 to grade 12. And again, we have lynda.com, and so they watch the videos on lynda.com for that program using, again, their PowerPass. And so, obviously, I am just trying to get across that the PowerPass has opened up a huge amount of resources for your students, and even down to kindergarten. And you know, if you could promote it, that would be awesome. Because we know that people don't really know what the library holds sometimes, because they're thinking, I don't know, they don't maybe consider it. A lot of libraries are disappearing in schools. And so anyway, I speak library district. We're excited to be working with District 2. It's been a blast working with Andy and the team. And we have just saw pictures of these little take-and-make kit things that we made for elementary students and middle school students. And they're very simple, but it was fun to see them go out. And then we work on curriculum guides that connect language arts curriculum with PPLD resources. So that's the other thing. It's been great. And thank you again for having me and letting me speak a little more than 3 minutes. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty. Appreciate it. These are great resources. My son just downloaded Libby on my phone when he was here. He's like, you don't have this? You're not in the know. Which is true, I'm not in the know. All right, 7. Are we on 7? Am I skipping? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I was like, I think I missed something. 6.2, plan recommendations for the district's health plan. Ms. Becker.
Yep, all working on it.
I'm just checking.
You know what, it's way better than, remember last year when we were wiping with those little alcohol wipes?
Yes.
Little square ones?
We've upgraded since.
Okay, I'm just saying, we've improved.
Hello, good evening, good evening, Board of Education. We're here on further communication to present additional follow-up to insurance committee presentation that we came before you at our last meeting. And please, as always, any questions or anything along the way, happy to answer them. So we have a couple of slides tonight just to talk about what is the work of the insurance committee, how that rolls up to our district operational expectations. We're going to talk a little bit again about premium structure and then the benefits of moving to Kaiser. So under our OE4, Personnel Administration, we talk to, and there's language talking to developing a competitive compensation and benefit plans to attract and retain the highest quality employees. So that is why we're here before you tonight, to bring forward the recommendation for the insurance plans for our next school year. Okay, so within our premium structure, within the premium structure that is outlined for fiscal year 2021-22, the district will maintain the current level of the district contribution on all coverage levels, except for, there's always one except for, and it's due to the Affordable Care Act with the employer mandate, and that states that employers must offer one plan where the employee-only premium meets the Affordable Act care criteria. And that's listed below at the federal poverty level, which is $104.53. So here we have listed for fiscal year for next year, the Kaiser premium structure. And I think I'm going to advance to the next slide because I think that's probably a little more worth telling, even though I realize how small the numbers look further away. So one of the things we're looking through the insurance committee, we talk about fiscal sustainability. We talk about, our health insurance fund, plan design, the robustness of the program, and we also look at the premium structure. So here we have before us highlighted in orange, because I know that's something instantly we all think about and our eye is drawn to, what the proposed increases at the additional levels and between the different plans, what that is a dollar for dollar increase from this year into next year. And again, this is maintaining the same current level of dollar amount of district contribution. So here we have listed a couple of benefits of moving to Kaiser, and this just touches on just a handful. One of those is the lower copay structure, which includes pharmacy and drug copays, lower deductibles depending on which plan one is on, increased co-insurance. We're really excited about what is called disruption report, which shows that 96%, there's a cross utilization in the provider coverage that the district currently has, and of course, name recognition. So this was really short and brief this evening. Happy, Wendy and I, for any questions or follow up without going into, I know this has been quite a process this year, started in September, of really evaluating and vetting for many months on end, review and analysis of the insurance recommendation for the school district.
When do we vote on insurance?
So, you don't vote.
I remember us voting before.
Yes, but it's really an operational decision, and so we talked at the work session about really bringing it to you to support our OE4 for informational purposes.
And we had additional conversation at the retreat around that as well.
Perfect. I just remember we used to vote, and Steve never got to vote, and so I was like, perfect. Thank you.
Quick question though, Shelley, real quick, where it says monthly impact to employees.
Will that happen in increments or?
That is a monthly amount.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Shelley. Seven, matters reserved for board action. We had the policy changes for BSR 1 and the deletion of OE 14. Anyone have anything on either of those? Motion? I think Linda.
I was just going to clarify that the agenda had included BSR 2, and in looking more closely, it was not needed because that policy had never changed. So there was no need to vote on amending it or revising it because we were looking at a misprint in the first place.
Well, and possibly a touch of clarification around the deletion of OE 14. It's not really as much the deletion as a reorganization of it. It's really being broken down into a couple of other OEs that were probably more pertinent and it came from in the beginning. And we had drawn all of those out at one point to really focus on OE 14, which was a technology policy. And as the board really decided that they probably all belonged in the individual policies, kind of where they had been read it from. So just as a point of clarification.
And it was only alive for about 2 years. So it went down pretty fast. All right. A motion on that?
So we just need a motion for BSR 1?
Yes, and OE 14.
Okay, so I move to adopt BSR 1, revision and the deletion of OE 14.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. English, seconded by Mr. Williams. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Keep going. We're on a roll, Mr. Korea. Board consent agenda. We have approval of board minutes from the February 4th, 2021 work session. Operational expectation 9, communication with the board indicator report. Operational expectation 10, communication with the public monitoring. And CDMT term, which I think was just extended for a year due to COVID. Do we have anything else?
Just a reminder that these were, we had detailed conversations at the work session, and at this point, we're simply voting on them.
And the CDM term is also not a permanent change to that term, but because of the void that we had with the COVID vacuum that happened, we just sort of paused that for a year to be able to allow those to continue that work.
Everyone's good? Motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda items as stated.
I second.
Moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by Mrs. English. All those in favor for consent?
Aye.
Oh, that didn't work very well. There you go. See how fast we can go. 9, the superintendent consent agenda. We have March personnel and comparison report. Thank you as always for the comparison report, Dr. Claudio. And January's financial report.
Usually we don't speak during this part, but Dr. Claudio does have a little bit of update today for you.
Last time I asked you,
I know,
you said no.
I know, we're just keeping you on your toes.
Just wanted to.
You have to have something every time.
I can do that. So just wanted to share some great news. We had our intent to return results back to Aisha Matthews, who put all the results together, and for the first time ever since we've been collecting the intent to return results, we have 90% of our staff reporting back to the district for the 2021-2022 school year. So I think that just, again, kudos to the board for making retention a focus. Kudos to Dr. Verhansel for her intentional conversations with staff about staying in the district. So again, never happened before. 90% of our staff are returning for the 2021-22 school year.
Well, that was worth listening to, I think. All right. Consent agenda, everyone good? Okay, motion?
I move to approve the superintendent consent agenda as presented.
Second?
All those in favor, oh, sorry, moved by Mrs. Hughes, seconded by Mr. Williams, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 10, monitoring board performance, 10.1 annual work plan. Do we have any changes or anything? Did you guys go over that, the meeting?
We just need to clarify, we were only able to get 2 of the student rep interviews done, and I think our conversation has been that we wanted the majority of the board, if possible, to be involved. So we need to determine the date and time.
Sooner than later, I'm assuming?
So we were gonna do it after spring break, right? Or, yeah.
I wouldn't expect students to show up during spring break.
The dedication.
Which is next week, huh? So, I'm available any evening next week. The week after, not next week. Next week I am too, but nobody cares about that. It looks like, the 29th, 30th, 31st is what we have, because the first we have a board work session.
First is what?
We have a board work session.
Work session.
But then, are you not available during the day on Friday?
Not on the 2nd. But if the majority is, then I don't think that should.
So I'm good Friday for the 2nd.
I can do the second.
Steve?
Anytime on the 2nd.
So the 2nd in the evening, it's fine?
In the evening?
Or in the day?
Oh, I thought you were thinking the day.
I was thinking the day.
Okay.
Probably
Second
just
in the
to say similar to the previous.
Exactly.
No, you're fine, I was just clarifying.
I can't remember the time. I had my second COVID that day, and I think it's at 11. I don't remember.
Okay, you'll be fine until later on.
Homerooms at
No,
8
I just
a.m.
don't, I just don't want to be not there.
Do you want to say 2 o'clock?
Does that work?
2 p.m.?
Does that work with the students? School
They have to
schedule?
catch the bus, they'll miss the bus.
Oh, okay. Can you?
So if it's in the morning, Corey and Steve and I can be there, right?
Yeah.
So, and we started
If
at
it's
9
9
o'clock.
o'clock, I can be there too, I
So-
think, yeah.
If we don't have to.
Yeah, if it's just 2, it'll only take an hour.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So from 9 to 10 on
Do
the
like
2nd.
8:30, like we did before, and we set it up at 8:30.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing 2 different times.
No, I hear you, I'm sorry.
Please tell me. Okay, so what we were saying was we started at 9, although we set it up at 8:30. So if we do April 2nd at 9 o'clock, it should be fine because we only have 2 students. So we're good with that date.
Okay. All right, and legislative updates. You have anything, Sean? Andy? One of you?
The finance bill is being discussed. Shelley can give you more updates. We're just really trying to be as vocal as possible and really get our voice out there of what we need for our district. You probably saw Biden dropped a big $1 billion bill to schools that we will be getting some money from, so still waiting to see the details of what that's gonna look like. It's gonna be ESSER 3. And so what we'll use that with, we're starting to plan with folks around what do we need to put in our schools, to update, to keep safe. And so again, kind of a silver lining of COVID is we're getting some funding to help backfill some things that we can fix and make sure we have the best facilities and safe places for our students. Last week, CMS bill passed. Governor signed it on Monday, so now it's sitting with the feds. that will make our students only have to take one of the two subjects, and so that will decrease their testing time. Again, I would say, not a good use of student time, but we will be compliant with what we need to do. And then we also are looking at some student discipline bills that are going through around what we can do with different discipline situations. And so giving feedback into those of how that affects us as a school district and affects our students. And then Shelley can speak to all the others.
And of course, Wendy is Dr. Berhansel is being modest and not mentioning, we got a nice little shout out from our time we spent with Representative Tony Exum in one of our lobbying groups, so that on a marijuana bill. So that was just really great. And we also had one of our principals with us. I always think that's good to involve the direct line of folks working with students. That always sends an impact to our legislature. So that was a really great part. Tomorrow is a big, exciting day for all things economic at the state. The March 20th economic forecast report comes out. So again, all the hoopla going around right now is fingers crossed that the state is continuing to do better than what they had thought a year ago as a result of COVID. So it's very positive indicators and sign for K-12 education here in Colorado. We have seen, or I think we all have recently, the $700 million economic stimulus package that Governor Polis announced. And that is a result of the state is rebounding quicker than anticipated. And we're hearing little comments like, oh gosh, we cut too much at the state level. But again, I think we all nobody could have known what to expect and how to think, and we're all doing the best we can. So that's indicators of that. So of course, I'm going to say Mr. Siebert's favorite acronym, the BS factor, is back and playing the conversations with that. So with school finance, there is a lot of push and intent to buy that down. But also what's coming into play is conversations quite a bit about equity. Equity around free and reduced lunch count, our ELL students, special education, etc. So kind of what we've seen in different times, only now it's if there's money available, what's the best use or resources or how to continue to get that to school. So again, a short window and time frame. And just to add to what Wendy has said, as she talks to the silver linings of COVID, Harrison will continue to receive a substantial amount of funding for all things COVID and what has been called as Stimulus 3. Colorado just announced they've received just a little over $1.1 billion that will go directly to all 178 school districts in Colorado based on your Title I allocations. So again, blessing in disguise, as we received $14.2 million that we're working on our SO2 plan. Indications are that could be 2 to 3 times that amount. So we're definitely working and doing all of that, but just really appreciate Dr. Berhansel and the teams for continuing the last remaining piece to advocate for nutrition services. Again, with all of the ESSER stimulus funding, we're doing our own internal deep dive and hearing across all school districts, hearing words like food scarcity, kids still hungry, and nutrition services. So we're definitely advocating because we feel as a result of COVID that has an economic impact to our families and students and how that is to available food resources. So that's been an area the past couple of weeks we've been advocating on.
Thank you. It's always so hard to advocate up there. I always think when I'm up there and there's 3 minutes to talk, that's just not enough. It just like freaks me out seeing that big clock. It does, it's not as easy as it sounds. There's a big ticky clock in front of you while you're supposed to be talking to a bunch of people. We appreciate that. I think last year, just past this time when we talked finances, and I thought I was going to cry in public because you just like brutalize us with dollars. It's nice to hear that we've really been able to move ahead and pass that, and that's not, the largest burden on our plate. So, thank you for all your hard work, Shelley. Thank you, Wendy. 11 is the renewal of the Aspen contract. And I looked it over, I'm assuming everyone else had already done that. I'll make sure.
We had some discussion at the
I assumed
retreat
you guys had a lengthy
also.
discussion, and I just made sure I did my part on reading it. So if we don't have anything further, I would ask for a motion.
I would move to approve the 2021-2022 Aspen contract as attached.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Siebert, seconded by Mrs. Pugh. All those in favor?
Aye.
We had another year with Aspen. No one else out there thought it was great. All right, so we are going to adjourn to executive session. It's 7:16. All those in executive session will be the entire board and Dr. Berghansel. Is that correct? All right, so we'll return and then end the meeting after executive session. So it's 7:16.
Dr. Berhensel will not be.
Oh, I thought she was. No? Okay. Thanks for clarifying. You're out. 7:16.